So stage 21, the second to last stage. We're going to make that little sub-assembly first. So make sure you've got open the friction pin with stud and also the light stud that we just made. Then go to either one of those parts and let's go to File, Make Assembly from Part. You can pin the insert menu open and first let's insert the friction pin with stud, fix to the origin of the assembly, and then let's also insert the light stud. We can then make these in place. So let's choose a circular face on each one and make those concentric. And if you find that your stud spins the wrong way around, you can just expand the mates, you can right click on the concentric mate and you can press flip mate alignment. I'm also going to lock the rotation of this. We probably don't really need to do this, but it's just for completeness. And then I'm just going to select this face on the pin and this face on the stud and join those together using a coincident mate. That's this sub-assembly finished, a very simple one there. So let's save this and let's call it stage 21. Now we can go back to our main assembly and we can add that new sub-assembly to the main one. Firstly, looking at the instructions, we need to flip the model over and we need to spin it around. So we should be looking from this kind of view. Then let's go to Insert Components. Let's choose that stage 21 and let's insert it somewhere around here. Then let's just zoom in and let's add a concentric mate by selecting those two circular faces and making those concentric. And I'm going to lock the rotation as well. And then let's just move this part into position by selecting, say, this inside face here, and then the corresponding face here, and making those coincident. So you should have that light stud on the back of the tail rotor there, and that's just the navigation light on the back of the helicopter. Now to finish off this stage, we also need to add the skids. These are made from the axle part. So let's find an axle that already exists in the model. Any of the axles will do. And then hold down Control, let's left click and drag from an existing axle, and then release the left mouse button, and that should insert a new copy of that part. The axles that we want are 6 long, so I'm going to click on the part, and then from the configuration drop down that should appear, let's choose 6 long. We can now make this in place, so let's zoom in a little bit. Let's choose a circular face on the axle, and then the corresponding circular face on one of the skid parts. So it should look like this. Now if you find that your axle is misaligned with the axle hole, then you can just drag it out a little bit, choose a flat face on the axle, and then a corresponding flat face in the axle hole, and make those parallel. And then for the actual depth of the axle, let's spin around, and let's choose that face in the very back of the axle hole. So it's that inside cross face, and then spin around and also choose the end face of the axle, and let's make those coincident. So that should pull that axle back to the correct distance. And then there's just one more on the other side that's the same position. So we can use our mirror for this. Let's go down to the very bottom of our parts tree. I'm just going to minimize these sub-assemblies to make it a bit tidier. And then click on the Mirror Components feature and press Edit Feature. Then in the Components to Mirror box, let's just select that axle that we just added. Let's press Next. And that preview looks all good, so let's press OK. And we now have the axles that make up the skids on both sides. And we've also got that light on the back. So stage 21 is complete. We've only got one more stage left, and for that we've got to make those all-important rotor blades.